Shabbat Shalom. 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 Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Try with me. La ya la la la. Ya la la la. La la. Shabbat Shalom. 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 Ya ya la la. Ya la la la. Ya la la la. Try it again. Ya ya la la. Ya la la la. La la. Shabbat Shalom. 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Now, Cantor, that was very impressive because you were holding the candles as we were moving the table and the cup and somehow did not spill the wine that's over there
And didn't miss a beat.
and didn't miss a beat when I took it from you. How did you manage that?
Sometimes you just have to go on automatic pilot.
All right, we're going to take a nice deep breath for Shabbat. Let's really appreciate being together. Oh, how wonderful it is to see everyone here today. We breathe in everything we want to hold on to from this very busy week in all of our lives. Think about how much happened in the world around us, in our own lives, in our own hearts. Sometimes it can be so difficult to even crawl our way back from the beginning of the week all the way to the end. How can we find our direction? So Shabbat is where we find our bearings. We're going to breathe in all of those special, unique moments. Take a moment just to tell the person next to you, whether you're friends or you don't even know each other, tell them one special thing that happened. If you don't have anyone next to you, go behind you, all right? Or you could just talk to yourself, that works. Tell them one special thing that happened to you this week. All right, let's finish up our thoughts. Oh, how wonderful to hear everyone. All right, now we're gonna, well, why don't we go around? Since I heard such wonderful things there, if you have things you want to share, I shared with Cantor that we had my parent-teacher conference for my youngest child, and he did pretty well, so that was a good one. Any other things you want to share with our community that you want to kvel about? It's nice, I think we need during these hard times. Yeah, Andy.
We finally saw Barbie, and we were surprised at the message and the significance of this singularly trivial movie.
Andy and Charlene finally saw Barbie. A big hand to them. You'll have to come back for Purim this year.
Welcome.
Any other special moments? Yeah.
Senator Schumer gave an incredible speech to the Senate, and if you haven't listened to it, it tells your story and provides a lot of pride, and it's available on C-SPAN, online.
Zena was saying what an amazing speech that Senator Schumer gave and how it touched her, and you should look on C-SPAN if you want to see it directly. Come on, we're all family here. Yeah, Jill.
It's just a week ago today when I got back from a really great trip with our kids.
Oh. Jill just went on a cruise, I believe, with her children, and that's very special, especially when they don't live in the area.
I have a paper due Monday, and I have had writer's block all week.
Oh, gosh.
And this morning, it opened up, and I just started to write.
Walter, who will be our men's group speaker on Sunday, has a paper due. Are you in school?
No, it's for a technical.
Oh. And he suddenly, with writer's block, and suddenly it all, sometimes I know the feeling, believe me. Yeah. Yeah, Beth.
Tony fixed our 22-year-old dryer all by himself.
Oh my gosh, Tony, you're hired. Beth, who's one of our presenters today, Beth Q, and Tony did an amazing thing. He fixed her dryer. 22-year-old dryer, which for a young person, you say, we always want to be 22-year-olds, but probably not for a dryer. All right, let's keep all these moments in. I can already feel the connection between us, and we'll breathe that in one more time. We're so very lucky tonight. I've been really looking forward to this Shabbat. Every first Shabbat of the month, we have our Jews of all Hues, and this month we will be having some talk of our hidden Jews, conversos, which is very interesting to me. I'm really interested in hearing. We have the story of Beth and Reverend Rosas, who's at Pilgrim St. Luke, and we really welcome her for the first time, and her wife Anne to Shir Shalom. I got to visit Pilgrim St. Luke, which is sort of near Elmwood area, right off of there somewhere. And I got to visit a couple of months ago, and so nice. I'm really, really happy to have them here. We welcome them. So we're going to have that conversation, but we have our adult ed chairs. We have Evie Weinstein and Ronnie DeBrown. If you want to come up and light our candles, is that okay? They've really done so much for our congregation, this new committee that we have, and we really thank them. Please light our candles like you light our way here at Shir Shalom. The candle blessing, for those of you not familiar with our book, it opens Hebrew side, page 120, and the transliteration is available. And we welcome, by the way, is anyone here from Pilgrim St. Luke? I know a couple might be coming, so if you do come, we're really happy to have you. May the candles light our way through Shabbat. If you could lift up the Kiddush cup there. Evie will take on that honor. And why don't we do that together? Page 123. And Cantor will lead us. Eloheinu melech haolam, borei karei hagafen. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu mitzvotav v'ratzav anu, v'shabbat kodsho yahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit, ki hu yom tehillah lemikra kodesh, sefer letziat Mitzrayim, Vanu v'charta Theotanu kidashta mikol amim, v'shabbat kodshecha yava uvratzon hinchaltanu. Baruch Shemo God. And let's say l'chaim, to life. L'chaim. Now that is, it's like your guys are family together. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for leading our committee. Bruce has been waiting here very patiently here. Sorry, I have a little out of practice. I was away on Thanksgiving.
See if that mic is on.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Hey, a couple just quick housekeeping notes as we get started. First of all, a reminder. That's Rabbi Alex. That's Cantor Frank. We may have forgotten because over the last month or so, between vacations and illnesses and weddings, we've kind of had a hodgepodge of people here, and everyone that's filled in has been great. Harvey helped out, Rabbi Yanina last week in the last-minute pinch. But it is nice to have our clergy back together. And we're looking forward to a wonderful service tonight. We have some visitors here tonight, so we like to remind people that are new to the building, just to be familiar with the place, locate your nearest exit. And as they say on the airplane, your nearest exit is usually behind you. But we have one right there that takes you out into the parking lot, and the exit where we have no doors still, but they're coming, takes you out into the lobby, and you can turn left and go out onto the front lawn. You can turn right and go out the main entrance to the back parking lot. And we have emergency equipment as needed, stop the bleed, first aid kit, defibrillator, things like that, just in case. And as I look around, we have lots of doctors here tonight, so we're good in that, and lawyers. We have doctors and lawyers, so we're all set for tonight.
Medical professionals.
We're all set. Anyway, we have a wonderful service tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'll be back later with the announcements. We have lots, December is going to be very, very busy here, so we have lots of stuff coming up. So Shabbat Shalom, and enjoy a very memorable service this evening.
So
welcome back to both of you.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Thank you. Thank you. We're really glad to be back home. And Bruce, you reminded me of the story of the doctor and the lawyer that were talking at Shabbat services, and the doctor says, "Oi, everyone comes up to me. They want medical advice." And the lawyer says, "Well, what you do is you just give them advice and send them a bill when Shabbat is over." So on Monday morning, the doctor gets a bill from the lawyer. Where can we find God? Where will I find God, whose glory fills the universe? I find God wherever the farmer plows a furrow through the hard soil, wherever the quarryman pounds the stone to gravel, wherever one earns her bread by the sweat of her brow, in the company of the friendless, the afflicted, the lowly, the lost. There God abides in sun and shower. I find God wherever my mind is free to follow its own bent, wherever words come out from depths of truth, wherever tireless striving stretches its arms toward perfection, wherever people struggle for freedom and right, wherever the scientist toils to unbear the secrets of nature, wherever the poet strings pearls of beauty in lyric lines, wherever glorious deeds are done. I find God in the merry shouts of children at play, in the lullaby the mother sings, rocking her baby to sleep, in the slumber that falls on the infant's eyelids, and in the smile that plays on his sleeping lips. I find God when the dawn comes with her golden cornucopia, or when evening falls, bringing peace and rest from western ocean of rest. God is the joy that streams from heaven with the morning light, in the current of life that courses day and night through my sinews and through all nature, in the life that throbs exultant in the dust of the earth, and through the blades of grass innumerable, and that flows in multitude of tempestuous waves through the leaves and flowers. I find God in the warmth of those passing delights that live but for a moment, in the pulse beat of a life that comes from eternity and dances in my own blood, in birth that keeps renewing the generations, and in death that keeps knocking on the doors of life. Rendinthrath Tagore, translated and adapted. I find God also in all of you. We turn and welcome Shabbat with Lachado D on page 137, and Cantor, 138 and 139. Are we doing 1, 2, 5, and 9?
8 and 9.
8 and 9, okay. So we're doing verses 8 and 9. On the 9th verse, we rise. We face Bruce. Where are you? Show you where. We're going to face Bruce over there. Our doorway as we imagine Shabbat entering into the room, and Bruce will be the first to greet, and Sheila, first to greet Shabbat. We bow to Shabbat, and then we welcome each other with our waves.
Many of us know this tune by now. Please sing along. My voice is a little bit craggy from having been sick, and thank God, feeling much better, but still kind of like, so sing along, please. Yamin Usmol Tifroti Vet Adonai Dariti Hayarish Ben Parti Ben Shmecha Denagila Olechadoni Likrat Kala Bnei Shabbat Nekamela Olechadoni Likrat Kala Bnei Shabbat Nekamela Bnei Shabbat Nekamela Boi v'shalom ateret bana gam b'simcha u'v'tzola tokem bunei am sikula boi kala holy Chanodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekamela holy Chanodi likrat kala b'nei Shabbat nekamela b'nei Shabbat nekamela.
We remain standing for our call of community. Look at our beautiful community here, page 146, the Baruch Hu.
Here we go. La la la, ya la la la, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. Yalalai, 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 lalalai, yalalai, yalalai.
Page 149 at the bottom. Let's read together the second reading. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv.
Aravim.
Page 152, 153, the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema
You may be seated. Let's read together on 155, Love Your God with Every Heartbeat. Please join with me. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. There's something about this reading that transformed the way I always read this biblical verses, the V'ahavta from Deuteronomy 6. That this is really about taking our values with us and teaching them wherever we are. Whatever our values, the central human values we have, we carry them with us wherever we go, in here, out on the road, with our children, with our families, in the quiet of our homes. All those moments, our values stand out. And not to forget that these are things that have been handed down. I find that it really has, that's why I often have us read it. It really helps to transform that. We turn to 158, and as my kids said, next week is Hanukkah. This is the Maccabee prayer, the Michamocha, which you can see in our Holocaust Torah when you enter into our sanctuary. And the Michamocha, as Harvey taught me, is the sign of the Maccabees if you take the first letters of those first words. you get Maccabee, which are the heroes of the Hanukkah story.
מי כמוך ואלים אדוני, מי כמוך נטר בקודש, נורתי לו עושה נורתי לו Try with me. Mi kamocha ve'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha netar b'kodesh norati lo oseh norati lo לפני משה ומרים זהירי אנו ויאמרו אדוני אלוהינו לעולם ועד לעולם ועד מי כמוך ואלים אדוני מי כמוך נטר בקודש נורתי לו העושה נורתי לו
How blessed we are to have Ken Kaufman with us. It's so nice to see you again. It's always beautiful to hear your music here. Let's rise on page 159, and we'll read together a song about freedom, a poem about freedom. Let's really think about freedom and peace in this world. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children, the generations to come. The song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more. The song of a world redeemed, a song of peace. How important those words are today. We're going to continue with our silent meditation. It goes in the Hebrew from 164 to page 180. Take time for your own private thoughts and reflections, and whenever you're ready, you may be seated. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soil, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will. We're going to turn to a prayer for healing. It's on page 371. And before we go into the prayer, we have a couple here that's asked us to direct their attention to one of their friends. We have Yael and Amir. If you could just rise up here. Yael and Amir, they're from Israel, and they have a good friend named Osnat, who they met, and their kids grew up together in California. And Osnat's son has been kept captive by Hamas and is in very dire straits. They were able to receive, they told me, a report back this week that he is alive, but he's in terrible condition. He witnessed the death of his mother in front of him, and he still doesn't know about the death of his father that happened in a way he didn't know. So we're praying that for his return. They do have a sheet of paper to help Osnat. They're going to be heading back to Israel next week. They come back and forth. But please, we're going to pray. What's their son's name? Itai. So let's really turn our attention to Itai and think of him. We do have one of the hostages here as we think about the difficulties in the world. But thank you for coming. They have sheets of paper that have information about how you can help, and we hope that you will help in this very dire need. Thank you. So I'm going to read our list from our community, and then we'll go around, and if you have names, just raise your hands of people that you're thinking about. It could be yourself even, people in our community, outside of our community, anyone that you're thinking about. We are thinking about Gail Alkerholt, Stephen Bernstein, Paul Bink, Colleen Cohen, Alan and Karen Cooper, Shelley Gordiero, Rella Corris, who's back home, Sue Diath, David Denzel, Jan Drucker, Nancy Durkin, Wissam Al-Malki, Sue Frank, Jessica Gazdovich, Marlene Glickman, Carolyn and Ernie Grosser, Hillary Hurwitz, Ellen Kaminsky, Colleen and Ruth Kane, Jordan Kaufman, Ken Kellick, Mark Nightinger, Charlotte Krebs, Barbara Crinkston, Emily Langdon, Miles Levy, Nancy Levinas, Frederick Lynette, Darlene Lloyd, Beth Marcus, Fanny Markel, Aaron Nevler, Joan Ollendorf, Joe Marie Powers, Maddie Rinsenberg, Cheryl Rossi, Brandon Ryan, Mary Scioli, Lorenzo Stewart, Emily Strong Tallman, Judy Van Horn, Elaine Veshalevsky, Iris Weinstein, Mike Wheeler, Alexander Woods, Gail Zaretsky, Chana Chaya Batzlatki, Nahum Ben Yisrael Vachaya, and Chana Ezra Ben Shul. If you have other names? We bring all those names into our hearts, and we turn our attention to those here and those far away. We hope our prayers extend to where they need. Again, page 371.
Mi Shem
healing of body and spirit. May our prayers go out to those who need. We're going to take an opportunity now to set up a little conversation. I'm going to bring Ronnie up here, Ronnie DeBrown, who is going to be our moderator tonight. And we're going to bring Reverend Nancy Rosas and Beth Q up. And we're going to give you some comfortable chairs, I think. Let's see. Is it easier to go on the side? Do you want me to?
Right here, Tony.
Oh, no, we'll just use these. These are
Oh, it is?
I think it's. Did you know Ronnie's a magician? While they're getting set up here, I want to really thank Michael Berger. Michael, can you stand up over there? No, he doesn't want to. He's very modest, but none of our program this year would be possible without Michael, and we really appreciate your attendance. This has been a labor of love. Michael has been invested, especially in immigration and a lot of things that are connected to what we're doing here today. So thank you, Michael. I'm going to go back down here so I can enjoy.
It's on? This is on? Yes. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to our second Jews of all Hues. And tonight we have a really interesting topic. Although in your passport you got a flag of Mexico, and that is helping to represent you, we should have also had a flag from El Salvador, because. Our topic actually includes something that has a number of names: hidden Jews, Marranos, crypto Jews. This is a group of individuals that had to change their religious affiliation to survive. Originally, as a result of what was happening on the Iberian Peninsula that eventually caused our expulsion from there in 1492, and the Inquisition, people had to be practicing according to the rules of Ferdinand and Isabella, the rulers of the Iberian Peninsula at that time, or it could be their death. And so lots of people converted. Their conversions, for some, didn't take so well, or they kept certain traditions alive. A lot of people came to the New World. The attempt was to keep them out, and there were rules. You actually had to be, they called it with pure blood or an old Catholic, okay? Católico viejo, an old Catholic. But lots of people kind of snuck through. And there are parts of especially northern Mexico and what is now the southern United States that were very populated with people who came to this country and began to practice somewhat again. And before I ask one more question, or any questions, I'm just going to tell you one more thing. Many people recognize the name Mendel as a Jewish surname, but we also recognize the last name Mendez as a very common Spanish name, especially Mexican, but not exclusively. Mendel, Mendez, okay? And there are other names like that. So you might not have ever put that together, but there is a connection. So I'm very honored to have Reverend Nancy Rojas, and Beth Q here, and I'm going to ask you some questions first. So talk to all of us about your experiences with Judaism, with what you know, with your family background. Tell us how you integrate to my little bit of the tiny story.
Well, if you get my DNA off Ancestry, it says that I'm 50% Ashkenazic, so that's Dad. And then it says that I'm 50% Spanish, not Mexican, Spanish. So my mother, God bless her, I miss her, this would have been her thing. My mother grew up Catholic, grew up very Catholic. And as soon as she graduated from high school, she decided that she wanted to convert to Judaism. So she went through with it. It was a conversion that was conservative. And everything went well. And my mother was asked by a bunch of rabbis to study with them at the yeshiva, which was something of its own. They weren't supposed to invite women, but they invited my mother. And there was some concern that her conversion was not 100% kosher. That the water in the mikvah might have not been from a pure source. My mother was devastated. She wanted everything to be fine. So she asked the rabbis if they could check in her history to see if there's anything that she could do, or would she have to convert again. Well, the rabbis said fine. They would like to do that for her. And my mother's last name was Alcala, but the Spanish version of that is Alcalá. And if you know anything about Arabic names, Alcalá means of the bride. And they took it back and they found that this Alcalá was a place in Spain from where they were expelled due to the Inquisition, and they came to Mexico because of a like language. They went to Jalisco. And I don't know if they kept any practices or anything, but the rabbis went to my mother and they said, you don't have to convert. You're converting back to what you already are. So that's the story. I'm a happy little Mexican person. I'm also a happy little Jew, Ashkenazic. So I get it from both sides. At Hanukkah, which is coming up, we get sufganiot, yeah. In Spanish cultures, we get buñuelos. I don't know if you've ever seen those on the Mexican menu or anything when you're out, but they're little fried dough balls covered in honey, and they're really good. So I get to enjoy both things, and that's my story.
That is an excellent story. Thank you so much. The part of the Iberian Peninsula where your people came from is one of those centers of marranos or crypto Jews.
Marranos is a bad word. Marranos means pig.
Well, but people took it back in the same way crypto Jews can be a bad word.
Right.
So what we're doing, what I read that people are doing, is re-energizing the language with positive, but no offense to you at all.
No, none taken.
Okay, good. And so your story may be similar, may be different. So when did you learn about your family background and that you had Jewish roots?
Well, it had been said that at some point, people get hunger for memory. And at some point, my mom got a hunger for knowing our roots, our family roots. And she had a friend of hers who was genealogist. And so I started doing the genealogy of our family. And one of my mom's, her maiden name is Gomez, we're talking about all the last names that end in EZ. And my father, one of his last names is Chavez. And so I started to do the genealogy work, and they found out that we can trace our genealogy back to the 1200s in southern Spain, when and the city that today is known as Murcia, or the Spanish people would say Murcia. But back then, when my ancestors lived there, it was called Anbaran. And so we found out through this genealogy work that my ancestors had to change their names and adapt it and to make it sound less Jewish and more Spanish to protect themselves. And they stayed in southern Spain until it was not safe for them anymore, and they had to convert to Catholicism. And so I grew up not knowing about that, so my mom found this information and didn't talk much about that. And there were things that my family did growing up that I was always curious about. I grew up in a Christian culture, in a Christian family. I went to a Christian church, and we will do practices that always called my attention. I remember going to my grandmother's house and finding her in her room on Friday night lighting candles and saying these prayers that nobody knew this language, that it was not Spanish. And so I was curious, and one day I found her. I was staying during vacations with her, and I found her, opening this armoire in her room and bringing out these candles and covering her eyes and saying these prayers. And I asked her, "What are you doing?" And so she just said, "Go away, go away." And I didn't understand why she was sending me away, and don't tell your dad, and don't tell anybody. And so it was this secrecy that, so I didn't ask more questions. But, and then, in my house, we were kosher. And I was like, we are just following what the Bible says. And then we were fast at the beginning of the year, and we will go and say prayers by waters and all these things. And I'm like, we are just following what the Bible says. But then I will ask my friends at school, "Do your family do this?" And they know. And so I didn't know. But once the genealogy work came, I started to get also curious about that, and then putting together those practices from my grandmother and my family. And then when I moved here to the US, I was in New Mexico. And one of my professors started saying to me, talking to me about Sephardic Jews, and say, "Your last name sounds very Sephardic, and have your family found out about this?" So I had to, again, go and reconnect with what I have heard or seen and things that didn't make sense, and making all the connections. And then I learned that when my grandmother, when she died, in her house, in the property, they found things that were buried. They found a menorah, and they found candles, and they found all these things that nobody knew what to do with it. And one of the things was for a lot of Sephardic Jews that converted, and I say converted to Catholicism because one of the things that I didn't understand is, like I say, if my grandmother is Catholic, how come she doesn't have any saints or any crucifix, or she doesn't have a statue of the Virgin Mary or a picture? There is nothing in the house, but she's Catholic. And then she says these prayers on Friday night that nobody understands. And so once I knew more about the genealogy and the practice, I started putting everything together. And then fast forward that to me almost 12 years ago, being in seminary to become a Christian minister. and having to write my theology paper and my understanding of God and everything, and with the knowledge of my Jewish roots, and I'm like, what do I do with that?
So, as a minister then, how does knowledge of your roots affect your activities as a pastor, your feelings about your faith? I mean, there's a pretty famous guy whose birthday is going to be celebrated about the 25th,
Right.
whose roots are kind of similar. So how does this impact how you manage your life as a minister?
Right. Well, I say to people, I'm a hybrid person, my spiritual hybridity. I think that knowing my roots and understanding and embracing the Jewish root helped me as a minister to be more intentional about how I come to Scripture and how I guide my community of faith, how I tend to the text to make sure that that I don't perpetuate anti-Semitism.
That's marvelous.
So that I am carefully to not do harm, and that I continue to encourage people to understand and remember that Jesus was a Jew, and to understand and honor that, and to honor the tradition, So, and to understand also that people I think that helps me also to be more open to people in the congregation, to understand their spiritual journeys, and to be more open and more compassionate, and to honor where they come from, and to embrace the wholeness of their identities.
Reverend Rojas and Beth, we want to thank you very much for sharing a little bit of your fascinating story. You've whetted our appetites. And so how marvelous. I'm sure there are a lot of people who didn't even know that hidden Jews or crypto Jews or whatever we want to call it even existed. So muchísimas gracias a ustedes. Next first Shabbat will be on January 5th, and we'll be, I think, looking at Uruguay. No, we're not doing Uruguay. Ukrainians. Okay, sorry, my list is not in proper order. The Ukraine. But that's good, not having two. Okay, super duper. Thank you all very much, and there will be during the oneg some food that we hope is somewhat attainable. Good.
And it should be really good stuff. Go ahead, say again. The caterer actually spoke to me as to what would be appropriate. So I said for him to use his imagination, and he threw a couple recipes at me. That should be a good oneg.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you so very much. That was marvelous. My pleasure.
Todd likes to say he's the richest maintenance worker we have here. Thank you, Todd. I want to just really thank the Hues also. Beth presented our congregation with a new book. It's brand new. It's called The Mexican Dreidel. It's by Carbon. I'm really looking forward to it. Look at that beautiful book. Thank you. And we should also really thank, if you ever go to Canal Side and you love walking around Canal Side, Beth's mom, who she told the story about, Paula, is one of the inspirations for everything that happened there. It was her hard work that made that happen. So she did a lot of work here in Buffalo. All right, so we're moving towards the end of our service here, and we're going to need someone over there that's sitting patiently, Naomi. Naomi's going to open our ark for us as we turn to page 586. We'll give Cantor a chance to get settled. And whenever you're ready, if you want to rise, if you're able. Just pull it. Let's see, maybe it's fixed. No, not fixed yet. Don't worry about the poles. Just there you go. It's not enough for us to pray. We need to go out and do good work in this world.
Alleluia, Shabbat, Ladon, Hakol, Latet, Gedulani, Obser, Breshit, Shelo, Asanu, Kito, Yeh, Haratzon, Velo, Sabanu, Kimishbechot, Adama, Shelo, Sam, Helkenu, Kahem, Vegor, Balenu, Hamona, Anachnu kolim, Unishtachavim, Umodim, Livnei Melech, Malchei Hamachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 591.
V'ne'emar, Adonai, le'melech al kol haaretz, hayom ahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo,
You may be seated. On that day, all of us will see that we are one with each other and that the world should be at peace. We're going to turn to our mourner's Kaddish. And, sorry, I just need to get a name out. We had a very, very sad loss. A lot of you know Bob Cantor and Linda Karch. Their little niece, who was just 7 weeks old, died. Sorry, let me just get the correct information. It was twin girls that were born. So I want to make sure we say it correctly here.
So one of the twins?
One of the twins got pneumonia. It's a wonderful family, too. Karis is her name. So we're going to think about baby Karis and Bob and Linda, who they've moved down to Florida, but a lot of you know them here. We also had lost Evelyn Cohen, almost 100 years old. Wonderful woman. Her funeral will be Sunday at 1:30 over here at Shir Shalom. Baby Karis was already written out. Thank you. Thank you, Joanne already prepared it. We're also remembering the father of Lori Herishberg, Joseph Eric Michael, who died this week, and Margie Abelson's brother, Harvey Morris Weiner. May their memories be for a blessing. In our Shloshim list from this past month, we're remembering Abby Robbins, Martin Robinson, and Barbara Schulafand. On our yard site list from years past, we remembered Hilliard Abelson, David Atkin, Abraham Bates, Adele Bronsky, Harry Brown, Joe Brown, Sadie Bunis, Gladys Berwick, Minna Kamen, Meyer Cantor, Gertrude Altman Covett, Louis Fagan, Louis Leonard Glick, Alice Gordon, Gertrude Grass, Lester Horwitz, Edwin Jaffe, Jason Kaiser, Henry Kaplan, Alla Kaplan, Albert Klein, Morris Ladis, Ted Lane, Samuel Levitt, Morris Markel, Benjamin Nyman, Leslie Morris, Russell Nissengard, Samuel Porton, Seymour Roche, Rita B. Ray, Max Sapphire, Maurice Schmeidman, Sylvia Schulafand, Lillian Schwartz, Olivia Seldis, Florence Sirota, Joseph Simon, Arthur Slonim, Ann Toth, Daniel Weinman, and Irving Weinstein. If there's other names you'd like to say, please just raise your hand. We'll take all those, no, yes. We'll take all those names into our hearts and we'll recognize those names and be able to honor those names. Page 598, the Mourner's Kaddish. All those whose custom it is to rise. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, V'yalmad Yivrach Yirtei V'yamlik Malchutei V'chayachon V'yamachon V'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael V'agalav V'zman Kariv Yimru Amen Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam Olmei Maya Yitbarak V'yishtabak V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitalev V'yitalal Shemei D'Kudashah B'rechu Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechamata, damiran v'yalma v'yimaru, amen. Yehi shlam rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yimaru, amen. Oseh shalom v'yimaramav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'yal kol yoshvei tevel v'yimaru, amen. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world. And we say, Amen. Zikronam levracha, may their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. Bruce will come and give our announcements.
Shabbat Shalom again, everyone. Thank you to Beth and Reverend Rojas for really interesting stories about your families. That was really fascinating. I never knew that. That was really fascinating. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, of course, to Michael Berger for his generosity in sponsoring Jews of all hues. This is, and where's Ronnie and Evie, our co-chairs of our Adult Education Committee. This is a wonderful thing that we are doing. Thank you to all of you for the work that goes into it and the generous support of it. Once a month, we get to travel the world and learn about Jewish heritage all over the place. It's really fascinating stuff. We are so fortunate to be able to do it. And thank you, of course, to our caterer, Zach Rosenblum from Bloom and Rose. I was in the social hall a little while ago, and it's quite the spread. You may not know this, but Rabbi eats at Mighty Taco like once a week. And he said, can we cater the Onig? And we said, no, Rabbi. We cannot do Mighty Taco.
I do like Mighty
He wanted desperately to do it. Anyway, thank you also to Evie and Barry for helping to greet at the door, and to Sue Frank for helping out with the stickers. It's always nice to have smiling faces when we walk in. And of course, thank you to Rabbi Alex Cantor Frank. We remember them, right? And Ken Kaufman joining us this evening for a really wonderful service tonight in honor of Shabbat. We have so much stuff coming up. Joanne had like 6 pages, and I said, Joanne, that's too much. But there's lots of stuff coming. Tomorrow morning, virtually, we have Torah study at 9 a.m. via Temple Beth Zedek's Zoom. Torah study is in person this week. That is at Temple Beth Zedek. So it's both virtual and in person. And then the Shabbat morning service will be 11 a.m. at Canterbury Woods. The men's group meeting Sunday morning will feature him, Walter Gordon. Walter's topic is 10 things I didn't learn at War College. If I had known you went to War College, I would have put you on the temple board. That would have been really valuable. Anyway, it starts at 9:15. bagels and lox. It is open to everyone. Just because it is a men's group meeting does not mean it's men only. Having heard Walter speak before, I can tell you it's going to be a very enlightening conversation. And then we're also going to have a Hanukkah gift shop sale down in the open area. That is sponsored by CSS, Temple Beth Tzedek, and Temple Beth Zion. So you can do some Hanukkah shopping. Next Shavuos will be this Tuesday. This is our last Shavuos of the season, of the year, of the season. It is this Tuesday. Be sure you pre-order. And a quick thank you to everyone who has been supporting our Shavuos, buying 1, 2, 10 dinners, whatever it is, who have been volunteering every time. It has been so important to this temple. So thank you to everyone for helping to make Shavuos so successful. This Wednesday at noon, Rabbi Alex is co-leading No Politics, Just Prayers. That's via Zoom with Imam Yahya Yusuf Omar Masjid Bilal. I managed to do that correctly. Please join us for that. Knock, knock. Who's there? Talia. Tell your friends Hanukkah's coming to Shir Shalom. Got to have a Hanukkah knock, knock joke. Next Friday, 1 week from tonight, we are doing a Trolls Hanukkah celebration. Not the Trogs, they sang Wild Thing. The Trolls, the wild hair. It's going to be a hoot. So the rabbi and cantor have prepared a wonderful service for us. And bring your menorah. We're going to do our traditional menorah lighting, which is always a lot of fun, and a latke bar, and of course, suf ganyot. And the Oneg is sponsored by Walter and Diane Gordon in memory of Eleanor Gordon, Ezra Hurwitz, and Bertha Hurwitz. Thank you for doing that. The suf ganyot. Walter loves his suf ganyot. Thank you for doing that. The following night, Saturday the 9th, is the Women of Shir Shalom game night coming back. That will begin at 6:30. It includes bunco. That's the only fee, is for if you want to play bunco. Where's Jill? Jill Hamilton is here. If you'd like to know more about it, chat with her after the service. All this month, our Tikkun Olam team is collecting for the Friends of the Night People to help the homeless in Western New York. They need specifically men's clothing, like gloves, boots, long underwear, socks, things like that. Sleeping bags. Sleeping bags would be great. Hand warmers, $5 Tim Hortons gift cards to help get coffee on a cold night. Travel-sized toiletries, anything like that. We have bins out front, so please do so. It's tough enough to be homeless in the summer. You can only imagine what it's like on the streets of Buffalo in the winter. So anything that we can do to help is greatly appreciated. Chai Club is back. The drawings will begin next week. They will be on Friday nights this year. So get your tickets, and you can participate right from the beginning. Thank you to Sandy Seide for bringing this fundraiser to us. Renovations are still ongoing. Oh my God, the Genenu room is getting painted. It's getting a new ceiling. The next up is our handicap access bathroom, which is being sponsored by Deborah and Dr. Ed Fine. Thank you for doing that. Bit by bit, this 60-year-old building, 60 plus, is going to look brand new. Thank you to Todd for honchoing it. And it's going to look great when it's all done. Lots more coming up. Believe me, this is not everything. Check your service leaflet, check the weekly email, check the high notes which came out, all sorts of stuff going on. If you need anything at all, since we have the rabbi and the cantor, talk to the rabbi and the cantor, leave Joanne alone, leave Todd alone, leave me alone. Just talk to the rabbi and the cantor while we've got them. Anyway, please join us again in the social hall for the Oneg, which is sponsored by Michael Berger. Shabbat Shalom. What? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I left something. How could I have left anything out?
You did, because on the back it says the RSVP for the troll thing.
Oh, yes.
Just come.
Just show up. Joanne has way too much food anyway. But seriously, if you're planning to come, let Joanne know so she can order double the latkes that she would ordinarily order. We don't want anyone to go hungry. Shabbat Shalom, and as always, thank you for being part of this amazing Shir Shalom family.
We will be starting pretty soon with our rehearsals for Purim. So reach out soon. Mark and Sue are here. They're helping me out with the scheduling, everything. Robin always helps out with the scheduling. You can email me or whatever, but we're working around the Bill's schedule, so we can't
And what's
can't
the
have that
theme this
conflict.
year? And what's the theme this year?
Barbie. So it's really, I'm so glad you've seen this, because really is just such an unusual movie and so moving, right? Yeah, so, and Rabbi wrote the script. So this is very unusual this year, and plenty of parts for everybody, big and small, doesn't matter. But you should try it this year if you have never done it. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What?
And you don't
What'd you
have
say?
to be a great actor. It's okay.
Great fun, okay.
If it's a great idea for kids, adults to be a little silly. It's great. We do have a trip to Canada, to Canada. It sounded like Canada. To Panama, May 21st to May 29th. We're asking for $500 deposits by December 15th. The trip will be about $2,500, including airfare. And we're very nice. Jim Cornell and Darcy Kramer, two of our members, are opening up their 19-room hotel in Bueno. Oh, I just forgot the name of the city, but it's right on the Caribbean, and we're gonna have a chance to see the canal. So if you're interested, please get in. It should be a really fun time. We're trying to assess how many people are interested first, and don't call the travel agency. Call me if you're interested. I wanted to just read what Beth here in the back of this wonderful book. It's really a wonderful book. It talks about the Jews of Mexico. It says, the Jews of Mexico tell a story of hope. In 1492, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand forced the Jews of Spain to either convert to Christianity or leave Spain. Many Jews fled to Spanish-speaking Mexico or other parts of Latin America. Often they kept their identities hidden, even in their new homes. In the beginning of the 20th century, a new wave of Jewish immigrants arrived in Mexico. Some were Yiddish speakers from Poland, Ukraine, Russia, and other parts of Eastern Europe. These European Jews brought the dreidel with them. Other immigrants were Ladino, Judeo-Spanish, French, and Arabic speakers from Turkey, Syria, and Lebanon. Today's Mexican Jewish community numbers around 35,000. During the end of the year holiday season, when Christmas and Hanukkah, frequently coincide, people celebrate with piñatas, trumpos, dreidels, and festive foods such as buñuelos and latkes. Wonderful, thank you. We're going to conclude with Ein Kelohenu on page 631.
So this incorporates Hebrew, of course, Ein Kelohenu, nothing, there's nothing, no one like our God, right? And then it also has Ladino in it. And Ladino is, of course, it's one of the languages of the Jews, the Sephardic Jews, and it incorporates Spanish, Hebrew, and Yiddish, just like the rabbi was referring to. So I hope all of you that have a much better Spanish accent than I do will sing nice and loud for this version of Ein Kelohenu. And what page was that on, Rabbi?
Page 631.
631. Something new tonight, right? Has anyone sung this before? Oh,
Well, we don't know the song. We know there's a
well, we can
traditional-
look on the page and maybe remember whether we've ever gone to 631 even before I was here. Ever been sent to 631 during services in the Mishkan Tefillah. So here we go. This is my first time also. Ein Kelohenu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kilmalkenu, Ein Kemoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. It's the same melody over and over again. Here's the next stanza. mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Malkeinu, mi Kaboshienu, King como nuestro Dios, King como nuestro Señor, King como nuestro Rey, King como nuestro Salvador. Stanza 3. Nodel. Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Malkeinu, Nodel Moshienu, Neremo mestraño, Loremos a nuestro Señor, Loremos a nuestro Rey, Loremos a nuestro Salvador. Baruch, stanza number 4. Here we go. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, bendito nuestro Dios, bendito nuestro Señor, bendito nuestro Rey, bendito nuestro Salvador. Here we're gonna go to Atah. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu, Tu el nuestro Dios, Tu el nuestro Señor, Tu el nuestro Rey, Tu el nuestro Salvador.
Boy, how
Yay
did
for
you like
us.
that was in our prayer book? I didn't even know that. I have a crazy story about Ladino. I was in Turkey and we were looking for synagogues, and I had a couple of buddies with me because we wanted to go, and it's very hard to get to the synagogues. They have a lot of security. And we found a Jewish fellow, and we heard that he spoke Ladino. And so my friend said, all right, who knows Spanish? I said, well, I took Spanish. I said, hola. I realized I do not know Spanish well enough to speak. Luckily, my friend, who now lives in Toronto, he spoke French, and the person knew French. Let's bring up our birthday girl. Julia, come over here. You got the challah. Julia is such a wonderful volunteer and leader in our community. She practically lives here. I think a couple of weeks ago I thought she did have a bed here. So lift up our challah.
So before I do that, today I was leaving home and my phone buzzed and I looked at it and it said work. And I wondered, I wasn't going to work. I said, where is it taking me? It said Congregation Shir Shalom.
That is awesome.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
And you can open up. That's yours. As you came in peace, please leave in peace. Please return your prayer books to the front of the sanctuary minus the leaflet. And please enjoy our oneg. Shabbat shalom.
I need to get
It's brand new apparently. I've never seen books like
the
this.
Mexican riddle. Yeah, one of the things that I have been doing during the children's store at my church since the conflict started.
Stay away from
Yeah, is to, yeah,